Hi, this is CK with today's advice for life. Today I want to talk about and continue my series in public speaking, and I want to cover an element today of public speaking that I think is very important. When people try to go out there and try, begin speaking, now I think it depends on the form. It depends on, of course, if when I was an engineer and I'm speaking in front of people and they expect data, they expect me to understand the problem and propose a solution. I think that's a different type of setting than, let's say, I do a seminar on college prep, which I used to do, and I'm in front of a lot of strangers, a lot of parents and students, and there's a little bit of entertainment there involved. That's a different kind of thing. But I think that humility and just being honest with your past failings, past experiences that involve failure, and some things that maybe you even messed up on, I think it eases the tension in the room, and I think it opens people's hearts to you, and I think that you're able to make a better connection if you do that, and if you can make fun of yourself, if you're comfortable making fun of yourself, if you're comfortable just being honest with past experiences in which you were not perfect. I think that goes a long way in showing your authenticity, showing that you are real, showing that you can connect with people. So this is a very important thing. Let me just give you an example. So if I'm doing, and again, maybe I don't do something like this necessarily if I'm in front of a judge in DC, and I gave a presentation one time and in a courtroom to a judge, and it was just three of us, me, two attorneys from, there were general counsel from our department, because I didn't know how to get to the court. I didn't know anything of the court system. So they sort of, they went with me. And so the judge wanted me to do a presentation on what I was doing and some of my accomplishments. And he heard about it and he was very impressed. And so he wanted a little presentation. Well, he asked me for a 20-minute presentation, but when I got there, he said it was, I'm sorry, Mr. Kim, you probably have something prepared, but I only got 10 minutes. Can you condense it into 10 minutes and give me a summary? So I had to sort of improvise on the spot and give it to him and just give him the main points, and that was okay. The judge was in a hurry. We had 10 minutes. I had to just get the stuff out there and just, real quick and just ask the judge, Your Honor, do you have any questions I can answer and whatever. There was no time to ease the tension, and there's no time to make a joke or say something. We just had to go right into it. So I think that's a different situation. Now, if I have 3 hours and I have a hotel room, hotel lobby, like not a lobby, but a hotel like a ballroom or a conference room rented out, and I got 100 people there, and I'm talking about college, but people have come to listen to what I'm about to say on that topic, that's a different situation. In those cases, I'm going to try to make it a little bit more entertaining. I'm going to try to make it a little bit more personal. So I might start out with, if I'm talking about SAT prep, and I often do this, and I often say this to my students, the first session that I meet them. I want students to know that I am not a perfect person who got a perfect score on the SAT, who killed it in school, who went to an Ivy League school, and I'm just so smart and so special and so accomplished that I am that I'm just superior to you in knowledge and experience, that I'm going to teach you, and it is your honor to learn from me, the SAT master. I don't want students to feel like that. What I want them to feel is, I was a student just like you were. I went to a public high school just like you're going, and I struggled with school sometimes in subjects just like you might have, and I struggled with SAT. In fact, it'd be a lie to say I struggled with SAT. I didn't even take the SAT. I struggled with the college entrance exam at the time. I didn't take the SAT. It was something called the WPCT, but I just went in cold. I was so ignorant. I didn't know anything about college prep. I mean, nobody told me. I didn't have information. So I just went in and I made so many mistakes. And I share these stories with my students, and I often tell them, look, I'm sitting in front of you, and you have come to me to learn SAT to raise your score, but you might be surprised to know that I never took the SAT. I never taught it before I started doing this, and I was not very confident. And I tell them about a lot of the failures, a lot of ignorance that I had when I was younger, and some of the mistakes that I made, because I think it eases the tension. And I think that when you're meeting a teacher, when you're meeting someone like that for the very first time, and I think, there's a little bit of an intimidation factor there. So I don't want them to feel that. I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to feel like, that I am just a normal person, just like they are. And I'm here to share some of the things that I've learned and that I've created, the system that I created that works, but never in a position in which I have it perfect and you have to try to be like me. I'm perfect, and so you should try to be perfect like me. It is nothing like that. I don't even want to give off that kind of vibe. So it's more of that thing. So I start out making fun of or, telling them honestly about some of the shortcomings that I experienced when I was younger and when I was in college, when I was in high school. And so I want to relate to them. I want them to trust me. I want there to be mutual, real trust there. That's very, very important. But the same thing is important when you're in front of 100 people. As when you are in front of one person. And that is, you have to be real. You can't make this stuff up. I'm not saying fake something, make a story up. I'm just saying be honest, because everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has had shortcomings. Everybody has had embarrassing stories. And they're just, they were ignorant and they just, So I would just say share those things. And so I would tell stories. If I'm talking about, let's say, business and I'm talking about money, yeah, I share stories of where I was ignorant and of the when I started out, and I'm not ashamed to share stories like that. And even as an engineer, when I there were times where I struggled, and I'm not ashamed to share the stories of my struggle and stories of my ignorance and stories of sometimes failures and my misunderstandings of things and things like that, things that I may even regret. Because I think, again, it eases the tension and it brings people closer. And that is what it's all about. Public speaking is all about making a connection with every person that is sitting in those seats. And the best way to do that is not, sure, credibility is important, but understand this. When people have come to a seminar like that, they already deem you credible. They wouldn't have come. They wouldn't have showed up if they thought, he doesn't know what he's talking about. If people show up to your interview to listen to you, they somehow heard about you already. They already know that you probably should be an expert, that you're an expert in what you're talking about, and you know what you're talking about. And that credibility has already been established. And so when you go up there and you make it sound like, look, I went through this school, I did really well, I did this, and you're only showing your accomplishments, and you're not really showing any vulnerabilities, then I think that it drives a wedge between the audience and the speaker. It's better if you're more authentic. It's better if you're real. It's better if you can share your struggles in an honest way, not just get stuck in the struggles, but you went through this, but you came out of it like this. I went through this, but I learned this. And of course, this always should end with a positive, but if you can share those things, your vulnerabilities, and make fun of yourself, basically, I think it just... admit your mistakes and things like that. I think it just goes so much further. So I highly encourage people to do that. But like I said, you have to choose the correct setting. Okay, when you are up there when I was in the government, when I was working, that's probably not an entertainment venue, right? So that's a little bit different kind of setting. So you have to cater to the setting, but in any setting, I think it's important that you don't go into it with an arrogant attitude. Like, I know everything, so you all should just listen to me, okay? I don't think we should ever get into that attitude and do it with that kind of attitude. You should always be humble, and you always have to, I'm sharing something. I'm not necessarily lecturing at you, but I'm sharing what I've learned. And sharing means that I went through these things and I learned from them, and I'm sharing my whole experience, not just my successes, but also my failures, not just the positive things, but also the negative things. And that goes a long way in bringing an audience closer to you. And that is such an important thing in public speaking. So that's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. And please go to my channel and click on playlist, and you're going to see 5 categories. There are college prep, there's career success, there's parenting, there's money, and there's mindset for success. And you can click on whichever category you want advice on. And there are a lot of videos that are available, so I encourage you to do that. But thanks for listening, and thanks for watching this video. And until my next one, I hope you stay well.